Fitness doesn't have to be complicating or intimidating. Let's talk about it. This show is for beginners, people stepping into the gym for the first time, sorting through the diet fads, wanting to feel stronger and healthier. Here is where we get down to the basics, the training, the nutrition, the recovery, and the mindset. Leading the way is NPC bodybuilding champion and seasoned coach here to guide us. His competition highlights include, out of his last 10 shows, two runner-ups and eight first place titles, along with a host of other accolades, placements, and accomplishments. And in his 50th year in the gym, training consistently, all aboard to the Train with Barry show. How's it going, Barry?
What's going on, Merrick? Good morning to you, man. How you doing?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I just lost you, but I know you're back. Yeah, it was a little odd.
Yeah, how was your workout this morning?
It was good today. You caught me we're on another day. Normally we do either Wednesday or Saturday. So far, this is, what is today? Thursday. So it's chest day.
Chest
So
day.
didn't break any records, but I did. I got my normal, started doing the 105s for 20 last week. I bumped it to 110s. I got 16. So it's what I always try to do is just keep bumping the bottom up. And yeah, it was really, really, really good other than the few distractions in there. I told my guy today who I was actually training. He was training with me. That's why I just stay. He asked me, "What do you think? What's that guy? What's he doing? What do you think that is?" I'm like, "Man, that's why I just look straight ahead and I don't look. I don't try to look around in the gym because it's crazy. It's just yeah. So anyway,
Well,
it
let
was
me ask
great.
you about chest day. How many exercises do you have for chest?
Three right now. I used to do four. I've cut it back. I say cut it back. I do four sets of like an incline dumbbell press on one day. The other chest day it'll be a barbell press. Then I always do second, I'll do four sets of flies. Third, I'll do incline dumbbell on my bar press day. Bar press third on my incline dumbbell day. So I really study a lot and concentrate a lot on my always have on my upper chest. We might have talked about it in the first show, but I ran into a guy, Dave Rogers, years. I think he was 1978 Mr. America. I remember seeing him out one night, and the dude's chest was just like he was working the door of a bouncing at a club, and his chest was just like coming out of his shirt at the top. And I was quite, taken by that. And I asked him, what he did for his chest, and that's when he told me. He said, "All I do is upper chest." He said, "I don't do anything lower." He said, "When you work upper chest, it works you from the top down, but when you do, most people who bench and do low pec, a lot of low pec stuff, it's what's called low pec heavy." So they got that, really developed down here, and they kind of got that concave look.
Right.
So from that day on, honestly, I quit benching, which is the best thing I ever did. I probably haven't benched regularly in 20 years. My elbows used to throb so bad at nighttime. I used to sit on the couch and have my elbows sitting in ice packs. That's how
Really?
bad it bothered me. And I've had people tell me, power lifters especially, because that's their one move is the bench. And they said if they didn't power lift, they would never bench. He said the stress on your shoulders and your elbows just wasn't worth it. And since then, nothing upper chest bothers me. My elbows haven't bothered me. And I mean, I've struggled with that all those years that I benched heavy. My elbows used to rock me at nighttime, just,
That's interesting.
hurt all the time. I tried everything with them, magnets and whatever thing came along, I tried them. But yeah, so mostly of that. And I'll superset chest with back. So, you know, uh, 12 sets of chest, 12 sets of back, going back and forth in between the two. Um, Used to do another three sets at the end. I'm finding now, I think it's worse to overtrain, believe it or not, than it is undertrain. So hard to recover and repair and rebuild the muscle you're breaking down on so many levels, as well as I eat and consistently as I eat. Most people who don't say if you don't have the food right, it's even harder once you're breaking down those little muscle fibers. And again, love it, the subject we can get into even later, but it's, people always say to me, when people I train at the beginning get real sore. And as we go along into the workout, they say, "No, I'm really get sore." And that's people's in their mindset. They feel like if they don't get sore, they don't get results.
Right.
And I have to change up my protocol, meaning change my order up. I go in, maybe I do flies first, something second, maybe I go higher reps, train faster. I can do things where I get up the next day and say, wow, like I just got back to doing flat flies first time in, I don't know, 20 years. I just started back, I started to do them again. And I was sore the next day after doing flat flies just because it was a new movement.
Your
But that's
body
never
kind of
really my
acclimate.
goal.
Right. Okay.
My goal is never to be see how sore I can get. Just hard to, like I said, repair and rebuild. And that's the key to growing and getting more toned and more fit is not the lifting so much as the downtime. And while you're downtime is when you repair and rebuild what you break down.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I think a lot of people, myself included, just as a shortcut in the thought process, just assume that the soreness must equate to a good workout. And I
Yeah.
think, from what you're saying, it's like the body just acclimates, and even though you don't get sore, that doesn't mean you're not getting the benefit.
Oh, 100%. No doubt about it. So, I mean, if you're sore all the time, something's wrong, number one. And if that's your goal, like I said, I think you'll end up being injured um, down the road when you're tearing those little muscle fibers and not repairing and rebuilding like you should. Like, and again, it's that 2 days rest in between is huge as far as downtime to repair and rebuild. I saw a girl in there today, and she got a nice physique on her, but she did shoulders yesterday. I'd be dog when in the day she was doing them again. And I thought that's crazy. I just don't mean I don't even know what the point of that would be because she's not in repair and well what she did yesterday. Now she's back in there doubling down, continuing to breaking down what she already did. So we'll see how that plays out. But it's just not a very that rest is huge. It really is.
Yeah, I think people don't give enough attention to that. But hey, episode 3, huh? Things are going well. We're up to
Yeah, we're
12 subscribers. It's catching on fire.
yeah, we're up to a dozen. It's
You're
getting out
pretty
of
much a
control.
celebrity. Yeah, yeah. There's, I wanted to ask you about this one. We got some mailbag questions.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, yeah. So let me give you this one here. In the video last week, you talked about eating 1 gram of protein for every pound that you weigh. Maybe you could detail how a 200-pound person, for example, what they would need to eat to get to 200 grams of protein. Is it eggs, chicken, steak? Is it protein shakes? Many beginners have no idea how to accomplish that, and many people struggle with that. And I would love to, let's see, it would make for a good topic if you could concentrate on that, maybe even a chart or formula as well. So there's some questions here about exactly how to eyeball and just know what those grams
Right.
are.
So do I need to set up a PowerPoint here? What I got to do?
I mean, we only
No.
got so much time in the show
Yeah.
here.
So for someone like that, and I kind of wrote down because I saw that also. A guy like that would be if you're taking in, let's say, for him, 10 eggs. Start his day off with 10 eggs. And that would be 6 white, four whole eggs. 4 whole eggs is 24 grams of protein. The other 6 is another 18. That's 42 grams of protein there. Then with his bowl of oatmeal, which has 5 grams of protein in it, he's at 47. So very close to his 50. Because you almost have to eat 4 meals a day, 50 grams at a time. So if he gets that breakfast in, like for me, again, where I am, I've already had 3 meals. What are we at? Not yet noon. And I've had my, 2 dozen eggs, my 2 bowls of oatmeal, my turkey sauce, whatever I've had. Plus I just had chicken and sweet potatoes. So I'm already 3 meals in. But for someone like that, let's say he does 8, 11, 2, and 5, or something in that window around that as far as timing. His lunch would be 8 ounces of chicken is 50 grams protein. So just grilled chicken. However that works. I mean, there was a time when I don't know what it is now because years ago when I couldn't have access, it's hard to find just chicken breast. But I used to be able to go like to McDonald's, which has very good chicken, believe it or not, grilled chicken if they still do. And I just get it without the bread, and they would charge me at the time. I think it was pretty good. It was $3, something like that, $3.50, and they were 4 ounces, and I'd get 2 of them. And then I'd go to Wendy's and get my baked potato, and then that's kind of what I'd have for lunch. I mean, I just have to, you make your rounds on what you're doing as far as, but ideally, if you're going to pack your lunch, and I know who we're talking about here, he's capable of doing that. But 8 ounces of chicken would give me another 50. Midday, 3 o'clock kind of thing. I still do. I do 6 eggs. I'll do 6 eggs around 2 o'clock. 3 yolks, 3 whites, which for the day really gives me like 30 eggs. I just think it's the cleanest source of protein. It's simple. I enjoy them. I don't ever get tired of eating eggs. It's easy to cook. Um, and if you did 6 of those, and then what I have is that mush. It's that oatmeal you can see. It's like overnight oats. It's in there where the yogurt is, and Publix has it, Target has it, whatever. So I'll take that mush and I'll add a scoop of protein in that mush and stir it up. So now that's going to be 25 grams plus his 27 grams on his eggs. He's at 52 there. And then dinner, again, could be chicken, could be fish. If he's doing lean beef, like tenderloin, petite sirloin, that's going to be the lean burger, which is what I do every night. I just take a lean burger patty, make a patty, grill it up and just eat it like that plain. That's 48 grams of protein. So as simple as that would be, that would give him 200 right there in the day. It's not terrible. It's 4 meals. Again, most people at work have a microwave. Most people at work have a refrigerator. So the mush they would take. Mush is one of those things that I like. I always take, if I'm on the road, I'm driving somewhere, or like I got a trip coming up next week. I've already thought I'm going to do my breakfast before I leave. I'll take 2 things of mush and my protein powder. When I get to the airport and get settled in, I'll sit and eat that before I get on the plane, that'd be my breakfast. Maybe a banana or something would be my breakfast before I get on the plane and head to where I'm going to. So, again, it's not easy. It's not. You gotta. I think about this a lot, especially what we're doing now, and I'm trying to preach this, and people look at it get to be unrealistic in a sense. You know what I mean? About what I just gave you there. Everything is baby steps. All I want someone to do is do something better today than did yesterday, whatever that looks like. If you're not eating breakfast, find a way to get breakfast in. Doesn't have to be eggs if you don't like eggs. Those lean turkey sausage I have are great. It's like 14 grams of protein in that. Some people like cottage cheese. Low-fat cottage cheese is great for protein. There's other things you can do. You don't have to be so regimented about it. People ask me about, what about nuts in the middle of the day? I've never really been a nuts guy. They got protein in it. Sure. I mean, I guess it's okay. Again, not everyone's looking to see if they get themselves on stage. At the end of the day, it's just about, losing the weight they're trying to lose and get in better shape. There's so many ways they can go about that. But again, it's about, as he asked the question, 1 pound per body weight, whoever that person is. That's kind of the minimum they want to be, male or female. And then I talked to him about that Lose It app, then plug it in, because it's going to do all the math for you. At the end of the day, it's going to pop up, what you plugged in, what your protein is, fat is, and your carbs are.
Got it. Got it. So when it comes to bringing that protein in, it's not really a matter of eating exactly what you're recommending. It's just a matter of getting that protein number that you need
Yeah,
to
100%. I
sustain.
wrote down like Quest bars are a great bar. Quest bar is a bar that you can pretty much take with you, and it doesn't really ever melt. I've taken it on the golf course, and the hotter it gets, the chewier it gets. They got hundreds of flavors in Quest bars. Most Quest bars are 20 grams of protein. It's not my go-to, but like if I go to a venue like tonight, I stopped and got a bar to take with me, because I'll eat my dinner around 5 and I'll work till 10 or 10:30, and I got nothing going on there. I'll do a protein bar around 8 o'clock just to get something in my system. Shakes are great, but shakes wouldn't be they're not really a meal replacement. Some people do it as that, but it doesn't It's not the same as chewing your food and how your body digests it. Whey protein is great, but it gets in and out of your system very quickly. So it doesn't take the processing is not the same. Spikes your amino a little bit. So I do them. Don't get me wrong, but I only do them because I don't really have a choice sometimes, as opposed to if I have opportunity. Like if I could drink 6 shakes a day, I would drink 6 shakes. This makes life easier for me. I don't, like I said, way back when we started, some eat to live, others live to eat. I'm not a guy that, what I eat today, again, when people say, what do you eat? I think he also asked me that, what do tell everybody what you eat. I literally eat the same, I've eaten the same 2 breakfasts for the last, probably longer, but I'll say for a fact, the last 30 years. Doesn't change, ever change. I've eaten 2 dozen eggs for the last 30 years, day in and day out. I just works for me. I'm not saying that's what you have to do. Find what works for you, like we just mentioned, and plug it in. But you gotta. It's simple. I thought about it. Think about it. I went to Aldi's today. I'm probably in and out of Aldi's. I'm not exaggerating. Depending on what the checkout is like, I'm in and out of there less than 5 minutes because I already know in my mind when I'm going. I went in today, got blueberries, salad, my lean beef, my eggs, checked out, and I was gone. I don't walk the aisles. I don't walk, you know what I mean? There's no reason to. I already know what I'm going to get before I walk in the door. Went by Sprouts, got my sweet potatoes and a couple things there, and then I'm done. So, again, I'm not that person. You see a lot of people in the store and they go down there. They have no idea. And I can tell you that story about going in hungry is I can tell you from me, it's interesting. When I'm have to do it when I have to. And I'm doing a show and I'm 15 weeks out, 12 weeks out, and now I'm having to dial in. Right now, I can eat whatever I want to. In fact, this past Sunday when I went to the game in the break room, they had 75 dozen of donuts
Oh man.
sitting around, and they're from that place over there off of Penman, which I'm drawing a blank, but Sonati's, which I'm sure they're very good donuts. They look really good. But 75
You
dozen.
don't you haven't tried one of the Sonatis?
I just haven't. I can't. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm weak. I can't. I just didn't see, did I walk in and think about it? Yeah, for a second I did. But I just, what I mean, I was walked in there to eat my lunch, my first lunch. So
Yeah.
would I have it afterwards? Nah, and I knew that night was my treat night. I was going to have a brownie and ice cream. So in my warped mind, if I'd had that donut, I wouldn't have felt good about having my treat at
Canceled
nighttime.
out your treat,
So,
right? One or
right.
the other.
So that's the other thing I kind of want to discuss too. When I talked about that 6 on, 1 off kind of thing. I call it a treat meal for me. It's really a treat day. I mean, for somebody on Saturday, whatever that day is, whatever they want for breakfast, eat it. Whatever you want for lunch, whatever you want for dinner, eat whatever you want off your program, whatever you enjoy. But can you get back on the horse on Monday or Sunday and ride it those 6 days till it's time to have that day again? And I had a young lady, Sherry, that trained with me a long time ago, and she was all about that treat day. So much so where she would tell me if it was 15 minutes till midnight, she would get those chips out and finish off the chips because she knew at midnight she couldn't have them anymore. But interesting enough, for all the stuff that she ate during the day, she told me after a while, it just wasn't that appealing to her. She ate less and less and less of that bad food. So what I was talking about, so when I'm dialed in for a show, and this is never doesn't happen. I mean, always happens to me. I'll go in the grocery store. You'd be amazed the stuff that catches my eye, like donuts, pastries, chips, everything that's bad. All I think about is, man, when I get off this diet program for this show, I'm going to eat that. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to eat that. I mean, I want everything. And then when I'm done with the show and I get my couple meals in afterwards and I go back in, I'm amazed how crazy I thought that was. And I actually thought about eating whatever it is I saw after the fact. I
You
had no
still
desire
deal with that. To
whatsoever.
this day, you deal with that, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah. So it ain't going away. So like when I would do seminars, interesting, I'd have people come up afterwards. They'd be excited about it. and what they learned. I say, I'm gonna go home and I'm throwing out all my stuff, throwing out my cookies and whatever they got in there is junky. I said, ma'am, don't do that. I said, because you're gonna turn around and buy it again. I'm gonna ask you not everything's in moderation, but as bad as I feel, and this is how it is right now for me. Every Sunday night I have my brownie ice cream because that's what I enjoy. The only other thing I would eat if I could find really good carrot cake, I would have that. But I like brownie and ice cream, so I do that. On Monday night, or when I go to the grocery store on Monday, I'll think about maybe I'll buy something bad, not really bad, but maybe just have a little bit on Monday, less, you know what I mean? Because it thinks about it. And then after I get home, I think I can't even really I had my dinner and I'm like, can't even believe I thought that, you know what I mean? But it is, look, I'm normal like everybody else. It's just, we have it in us that we want to have it. It's just trying to, like I said, as you go along, hopefully the more you see, the better the results you see, the more you'll want to dial it in to get it really right.
And those desires, those cravings, you can deal with a little easier, and they seem to pass.
Yeah, and they don't, to say they're going to go, do they ever go away? Not really. I mean, but if you're eating enough food to where, like we talked about last week, and you have a metabolism, I don't really have time to think about bad food because you always get to eat. And that could be, again, like people say, well, I don't have time. I don't have time. So meal prep. The guy I ran into the other night, he's the JFRD fire guy, and I was asking him. I sent him our thing, and he saw the first one, and he said where I mess up is if I forget to meal prep or don't do it, then I'm kind of messed up because I don't have my food with me. So for those guys, like if it was me, I'll do Moe's, I'll do Chipotle. I used to do Panda all the time. You used to be able to get brown rice there. I don't know if you still can, but they had Cherokee chicken. You could do a whole lot worse than, you know what I mean? Maybe. So there's places you can go and get stuff. And then my go-to is hibachi chicken at about any Chinese restaurant that you can possibly go to. Chinese awesome as far as getting your chicken. If you don't get it all, in brown gravy or whatever all the stuff is, but if you just get, your chicken and your veggies dry and then your rice, I mean, I can eat that pretty much every day. So you just got to think about it. You can't really find yourself figuring out 3 hours after you miss lunch that I got to run out and get something because I forgot to eat. And now you're so starving. Everything looks good to you.
Yeah.
No matter what. You always want to gravitate toward unhealthy when you're hungry. I do the same thing. You think about the same thing, eating the same kind of, burgers or whatever I can get my hands on if I'm really, really hungry and haven't been able to get the food.
Well, let
So,
me ask you, are you really intentional about your post workout meal? What do you do there? Or do
yeah,
you even,
we
okay.
haven't talked about that. That's a great question because for me and what I've learned, that's the most important meal, and they say there is. So, what I've learned way back, even back when during the seminars, I never forgot that stuff. You have a 45-minute window to replenish and restore your glycogen to 100% capacity. So after you work out, there's a 45-minute window there to get your protein and carbs in to restore it. If you go past that an hour, hour and a half later and eat, it drops to 50%. So you're not replenishing your glycogen. So my most important meal that I don't mess around with, if I train like today, I walked out of the gym at 5 after 8. I was eating my breakfast at 8:45. And I never really mess around with that. And that might speak to why, as we talked about last week, hitting a wall, I don't ever really hit a wall because I make sure I get that meal in. So it wants to be some protein on my eggs, but most importantly, a good complex carbs. Oatmeal could be sweet potatoes. It could be, I can tell you for like if I'm down my last 4 weeks is I'm eating a lot. He gets me, my guy dials me in, has me eating like 8 meals a day. But all it is chicken and sweet potato one meal. Next meal, steak and baked potato. Then chicken and sweet potatoes. Think about that. 10 times a day. You get a little tired of sweet potato, but you're ready to get off that when it's time. But that's just good carbs, good protein. That's all you're trying to do is fuel the body. So yeah, so it could be oatmeal. Like I said, for me, it's oatmeal, but there's a lot of good complex carbs. I just stay away from processed food altogether, and I stay away from white. I used to not. I would used to go if I went to Chinese for lunch, and that was all I could get, and I would get chicken and veggies, and they had white steamy rice. I wouldn't even get that. I've kind of checked. I mean, over the last year, I do that, and I think you can do a lot. Do a lot worse than not getting that carb in. And is it? It isn't terrible. Is it but as good as brown rice? Probably not, or it isn't. Not even probably, but you still want to get those carbs in as opposed to not. So baked potato, sweet potato is great. Quinoa is great. Plus, quinoa is a really good. It's a great protein because it's a complete protein. If you add black beans to your brown rice, that makes that a complete protein, meaning it has all 10 essential amino acids in it. So, that kind of thing. Whole wheat bread, you could do a lot worse if you got a really good, sometimes instead of my rice cakes, I'll get that, what is it, Killer Dave's bread. They're like little I don't know what you want to call them, but there's a thinner, smaller bread. I'll do that instead of I'll get on a little run of doing those. Like whole grain. They're like those Thomas English muffins, but
Yeah.
they're Killer Dave. So they're good quality, 100% whole wheat. And then that stuff just keeps you fuller longer. Like if I just ate protein, if you just ate protein for lunch, you should be, and probably you'll be hungry 30 minutes later. But that glue, what I call it, which is your oatmeal, your sweet potatoes, your baked potatoes, your whole wheat pasta, whatever that is what fills you up.
Got it.
So, that's kind of what you want to do. I used to eat a lot of salmon, tuna. I kind of I don't know why I got away from it. I don't even do, I mean, like I said, everything I'm eating, all I eat now is chicken and steak. That's
Do
all
you measure out your meals before you eat? Or do you kind of sneak
yeah, I
eat?
used to weigh it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, if I'm getting where I'm really starting to fine tune it for a show, I weigh everything I eat.
Is that something you recommend for people trying to get in
Yeah,
shape or for
till you figure
beginners?
out what 8 ounces looks like or 10 ounces. Yeah, like you talk about a piece of chicken being a deck of cards. That's a pretty small piece of chicken. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I would, yeah, scales are easy to pick up. They're cheap to pick up, but it's nothing for you to put it on there and get an idea what whatever it is you're eating on whatever level you're at, 8 ounce, 6 ounces, 8 ounces, 12 ounces. So yeah, I would definitely, it helps because then you know exactly what you're taking in. And then after a while, like where I am now, I get a feel for it. I mean, it's not like is it a little bit off? Maybe, but I mean, I don't, at least I kind of have an idea what my chicken should look like, my lean beef should look like, and kind of go from there. But yeah, I would definitely weigh it till you kind of get a hang of what it is you're doing. So, and again, don't be overwhelmed. But people got, like we talked about, the whole point of the show is people kind of getting overwhelmed and think it's not possible. It doesn't work for them, and it will. It's just a matter of it's not easy. It isn't. This whole thing, the food is where people struggle. It's I was think last week 99. I think it's 90% food. 90. We're up to now 93% of the people who go to the gym don't get results. 93%. Now that's climbed. Used to be in the 80s, but that's a true fact. And if you look around the gym, or at least I look around the gym, I see it all the time. You don't see a lot of people that you say, "Wow, that person can really see there's some change there." For the most part, if you even see them again, but those regular people don't really see a whole lot of change. And for some, if you're not looking to lose weight or you're overweight, which is what 44% of America is obese now, I don't know there's anything wrong with that. Truthfully, I used to have my clients who they'd be in there working out and they would say, I'd say something about whatever they were doing, and they say, "Well, Barry, at least they're here." And I used to think to myself, "Well, why? If you're just here, what's the point?" But you know what? They're really not. As I reflect back and think about it where I am now, they're probably right. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with coming in to feel good. It's a great release. You feel good about the workout. You don't always have to be bumping your weights up. If you're lifting, doing a good solid workout and you go home, yeah, there's no doubt about that. So everyone depends on what you're trying to do. But if you're one of those who are, in the obese category, other thing I looked up the other day, I was curious, and you might uh, think about this, not for you, but I'm just saying you might think about it in a sense that you didn't used to ever hear about hip replacement, knee replacement surgery in America. I mean, that was what, 15 years ago? I don't know, maybe if you heard about it, it might have been an athlete or someone that had some kind of issue. Well, now it's every time I see somebody, hey, I got my hips done, got my knees done, whatever. And I looked it up because I was curious of what percent of those who have hip and knee replacements due to obesity, and it's 73%. So 3 out of every 4 people overweight
Are wearing
eventually
out
is going
their
to have
shit.
to have hip. If you think about that kind of weight they're carrying around, are going to have hip or knee replacement surgery somewhere down the road. So there's so many reasons why it's so important to you know dial this in and try to find a way to get your food right, and then work your way into the gym and just start getting on. And just again, it's baby steps, man. It'll work. It works for everybody, but you
Well,
gotta.
another thing, go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm fine.
Another thing that will work if you want results is if you got any value out of the show, hit that little like button. It'll push us up on your feed. You'll be updated every time we post a new show. And if you got any value, again, hit that subscribe button. These are small things you can do to get instant results. And Barry, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, as I said, go to the website. That gentleman we talked about, that's how he reached out to us. Was when I got my phone number off the Train with Barry on the Facebook page, and I love that. I mean, I have no problem whether they and even comment on the feed that they're seeing. And that's where he also made a comment to us. So I love that. I mean, reach out. Like I said, I love to help anybody that I can. Anyone they might know who is struggling, would love to lose weight and in a bad place. Look, I give free advice. I have no problem with that. Something I've always wanted to do, honestly, is kids, 13, 15, 17, whatever the age is. If they wanted to reach out, somebody knew somebody, I would train them for free.
So if you want to reach out to Barry, hit the description and hop over to the Facebook page. That is it, everybody. Until next time. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.